There we go. All right. Well, welcome everybody. My name is Jaron Peranto. I'm the credentialing director for IAAO and oversee our daily operations for our professional designation program. Just real quick, we'll just it is basically as simple and straightforward as advertised. We'll do a quick intros with our panelists so you know who's available for you today to ask questions of, and then we'll jump and into answering your questions. As you said, it's very informal. There's no protocol, so feel free to unmute yourself when you want to ask your question. If you're not comfortable doing that, go ahead and place your question in the chat, and I'll pose it to our panelists. And if it's more nuts and bolts, I won't make them answer that. I do the nuts and bolts every day, so I'll answer those kind of questions. So. Um, Let's see. There'll also be a slideshow in the background, just some general information about candidacy that often comes up. So we kind of put in the slideshow to run in the background. We're not actually going to present the slideshow or anything. So it's just there for your information, and also might spark some questions for you to ask of us. Let's see. Please do send your questions, but if you're just here to observe and listen to others, that's fine as well. So far, we don't have a lot of attendees, so I hope we have a talkative group today. Or it might be us panelists talking to ourselves. Yay, for you to witness. All right, let's see. I think I covered all the housekeeping items. So, Mr. Fowler, you want to kick us off with the introductions?
Yeah, sure thing. Good afternoon. Hope everybody's having a good end of the week. We have a holiday here tomorrow, so I'm looking forward to that, not having to come into this place. But my name is Brad Fowler. I am the Alamance County in North Carolina, Alamance County Tax Administrator. Serve as the chair of the Professional Development Committee this year. I've been on that committee for several years on and off. And so have learned a few things along the way. Hopefully can help you guys out if you have any questions. I do hold my RES and AAS professional designation through the IAAO. Also serve as a senior instructor with the IAAO and a CEAA grader. So have some knowledge on all those accords. So I'll certainly be more than willing to share with you any information I can to help you in your endeavors. And hopefully we can get everybody pushed to the next level here. So welcome.
Great, thank you, Brad.
Mhm.
Bernice, you want to go next?
Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Vernice Parham. I'm from the City of Suffolk Assessor's Office, located in Suffolk, Virginia. I'm an appraiser 3, and I've been with the City of Suffolk for almost 11 and a half years. I'm also a holder of the RES and the AES. So I'm happy to be here today and answer any questions that I can.
And my apology for dropping your AAS off of your name.
That's all right.
Bernice. I didn't quite finish the slide. I knew, but the ones that I was confident about. Oh, all right, Darlene.
Hi, I'm Darlene Plummer. I am up in Northern Kentucky. We have about 70,000 parcels here in Kenton County. I've been with the office, PVA office, Property Valuation Administrator, since 2001. Elected PVA since 2014. I am the first and only, I'm proud to say, PVA out of 120 counties to get not only one but two IAAO designations. So I have the AAS, which I achieved in 2023, and the RES, which I just recently was awarded in 2025. So there's one other AAS in the state, not a PVA, but a deputy, and then a Department of Revenue holds a CAE. So quite proud of that, and I've heard from several of my peers or whatever that I've motivated them to start working towards IAAO designations as well. So, and I'm happy to help anyone who would like. So, thank you.
Always good to hear. Thank you, Darlene. And my apologies to you as well. I knew I forgot something on the slide.
That's
All
all
right,
right. I
and
actually, yeah.
Go ahead.
I can't see the slide, so I'm not insulted. I phoned in.
There we go.
I
That's
need
one
to
way to
try
take care of
to.
it, right?
Right.
All right, and
Hey,
Brandon.
I'm an elected official. I don't get insulted too easily anymore.
That's
Plenty of
funny.
practice.
Right, right.
Yeah, that's funny. My name is Brandon Schweinler. Good afternoon to everybody. I hail from the great state of Texas. But yeah, I'm an RES. I just got my designation last year, right before the big conference, and so that was pretty cool. And had the opportunity to just proctor for somebody today, so kind of turned around and started doing that. My background is in a little bit of residential, spent some time in commercial, and I work for the CAD down here in arbitrations now for primarily doing commercial arbitrations. And that's what I do.
Good deal. Thank you, Brandon. All right, so there we go. We have a little bit of experience on the line for you all, and some folks that also fairly recently got their designations have just been through the process pretty recently, so can all speak to that. So that's always a good thing. So, but I think we'll take this time now to open up to our attendees' questions. Jump right in.
Hello, my name is Ray Solis. I'm the elected assessor in Jefferson County, Oregon. And
Hello.
hello today. I'm newly looking at designations with IAAO. I have a few courses under my belt and thinking maybe I should go ahead and aim towards getting a designation. A question that I would have would be, I have the list of what classes need to be taken for different designations. Is obtaining a designation as simple as I take the courses and then I apply in some manner? Apply for the designation.
Well, take the courses and successfully pass the required examinations. So
Okay,
I don't know
yes.
if it's as simple as that. Yes,
That's a
those are
given.
quite tough. Yeah.
Yeah. What I didn't know is there some other procedure? Do you need to contact with somebody and plan going from course to course? Is there something underlying the development toward the designation? Or is it really you take the courses, pass them, and then you fill out an application or something for the designations?
Yeah, exactly. I thought it was a pretty simple process. Just work at your leisure to get all the requirements completed, and then submit the application and wait for approval. Jaren's great to work with too if you have any questions along the way.
Great, thank you. Are any of you panelists aiming for your CAE designation?
I currently, this is Darlene, I'm kind of sticking with the RES and AAS for now. I am up for an election in May, so I hope to keep my position, but I do have opposition this time. So, and I would add that too. I'm somewhat at the end of my career. I wish I would have started much sooner on the designations, but I don't know that I'm going to get with the CAE. We do have we're a state office under Department of Revenue's guidance, and we do have one person that is a CAA, and I'm sure he'd be happy to talk to you about that designation if you'd like.
Mm-hmm.
And I did find too that the AAS and the RES, it was really like maybe one class or two that additional that you had to take. So once you get one, it's I'd recommend going ahead and getting the other.
And just a note that I believe the August chat will be on this focus on the CAE. So we'll have some CAE designees on for that. Any other panelists?
Ray,
Want to
if
talk
you're
about?
Yeah.
Go ahead,
And
Brad.
Ray, if you're considering the CAE, I have my RES and AAS, and no, I'm not considering the CAE just because I don't really have the time and kind of like what Darlene had said with the other constraints. But if I had it to do over again, I'll tell you that the one regret I have is not getting that designation first, because of some of the requirements that you end up kind of pigeonholing yourself into, i.e., a commercial demonstration report that you would have to write to ever get that CAE in the future. And so I wish that, once again, hindsight, I wished I had started there and done that, even though it's a little bit, it's kind of considered the best of the best, I guess you would say, to have that and hold that designation. But that's where I would start. A little bit harder, but it's worth that on the front end, I believe.
And I like to piggyback off of what both of you have just stated. I did the RES and the AAS, and it wasn't easy. It was hard work. And with the demonstration report that would have to be done with the CAE, I think I'll pass on that.
Yeah, I guess I'll chime in. Ray, I don't know how much you've looked into the coursework, just from your earlier question, but the big thing at the end of it is having to do either a workshop or actually doing a full-blown appraisal report, which if you talk to different people, we're talking lots of hours, 3 digits, it's a big project, and you're probably not going to get it passed the very first time you do it. It's a whole thing. So what they're referring to is if you do the workshop to get your RES, then you don't have to actually do that residential report. But if you were going to do the CAE, it's probably preferential to do a report for the residential side because you have to do it for one or the other. You can't take two workshops to cover it. So if you're going to do the RES, if you're going to do a residential full-blown report anyways, you might as well do it once and have it apply for both designations, essentially, is what they're saying. I just don't know if you have that background info, but
No, I don't have that. So where can I obtain that kind of information?
So those are, well, kind of the background of the slideshow here. But if you go to our website, iwao.org slash designations, there are resources listed there. And then you get more details once you apply for candidacy. So on that main page, you'll see a couple of places there to apply for candidacy. And then you'll officially declare yourself a candidate for designation. You'll have access to an advisor if you want to connect with an advisor, and you get more details about the different requirements and how to meet those.
Okay, thank you.
I'll throw this out there too. When I sat in a discourse like this before I had gotten my designation, because I wanted to learn more about it, a gentleman was on there on the panel who had actually gotten his CAE, and he actually went through and did the commercial report, and he just did the workshop residential. And he said, I would not recommend that for anybody.
Oh,
I still remember I said, the guy who did it says, don't do that. I'm like, okay. So just a little food for thought.
wow.
Yeah, the graders often refer to the demonstration report as the appraiser's thesis paper on appraisal. So
Mm,
yeah, it is an appraisal, but then it's also it's the narrative part. So it's a demonstration narrative appraisal report, and it's that narrative that drags things out quite a bit. And there's a lot to demonstrate. Basically, it's a thorough demonstration of your knowledge and appraisal. Not to scare anybody away, but but yes, if you were to say aim to do the RES for residential appraisal and then think about moving on to the CAE later, if you started with doing your residential demonstration report to earn your RES, that report would also apply to earn the CAE. So it would meet both. So it would meet the project requirements of both designations that way, just with just that one report. So if you're thinking about it, that would be probably the way to go.
okay.
Yeah, and I ended up doing the case study exam and master exam rather than the report.
Mm,
That's what most RES candidates do.
Yeah, and that case study exam you get 8 hours, I believe, and it took me
Yes.
about the whole 8 hours.
wow. Wow.
Same here.
and on that note, Jaron, I was just thinking maybe on the website it would be nice if it told you under those that exam tab, how long you got on each of those.
I don't know.
I don't
Good
think
point.
it does. And
I'll have to
especially
take a
the
look.
master exam doesn't tell you like how many questions and how long. I know that, but I've got it pulled up and I don't see where either one of them have.
Yes.
Like the
Once we
case does,
get,
it does say you have a 100-question multiple choice exam, but I don't think it tells you that you have 8 hours, and the same on that master exam. That would just be my suggestions.
very good. Yeah, we're thinking about that. That's one of those things that we don't publicize a lot on the master exam because that page is available publicly. So we do provide that upon request to candidates when they apply for the exam. Probably should just have a form email that goes out that just goes to all candidates. That'd be great. But soon, what I'm getting to is soon we're going to have a way to kind of have different areas of the website locked down for folks that are actually candidates and just the public. So once we get that part figured out, then we can put more information there for candidates. So you can just log on and take a look at it.
Hmm.
And that would be good information to add. Yes.
And I would definitely suggest I took the workshop for the AAS and the RES, and I thought those were really helpful. I think they're optional.
Yeah,
They're
right. So
very
on
helpful.
those, our education team has preparatory workshops for those case study exams that are, as I just said, are optional, but they do kind of go through a review of material and then has a practice exam at the end that's set up very similar to the way the actual exam itself is. It is a different kind of exam than most people have encountered before. It's a question booklet and a data booklet, and the data is presented in a way kind of you might find it in a real world situation. So some stuff in there is good, some stuff might not be so good. So you have to use your experience to pull out the data that you need to answer the questions and go through that exam. So you're jumping back and forth between two booklets, and it's kind of as I said, mentioned, it's a long experience. It's a long day, so that workshop kind of gives you a chance to practice that environment a little bit before you get into the actual sit down for the actual exam itself.
Yeah, and I just want to add, Michael Mills did an exceptional job. I went to took mine out in Idaho. He did a great job, and he was followed up and offered his assistance outside of when the workshop was over. So I really appreciated that.
Is that workshop number 171?
No, it's
For the art.
851.
151?
851.
851, okay.
Mhm.
I'm looking at a flyer from IAAO titled IAAO Designation Symbols of Professionalism, and it lists the designations and courses on it. And I don't see any other workshops listed other than 151 and 171.
So those are the ones that are required. So you had to have credit for those to earn the designation. Like was said, the prep workshops for the case exams are optional.
Ah, okay.
I'll throw
And
this
very
out.
much helpful.
Yeah, I'll throw this out there. Listen. I imagine a lot of us on the call have done pretty well academically. I was in that workshop, and we did a test exam at the end of the workshop, the 851 workshop, for which you need for the RES if you go that route. And listen, I'm taking this test. I don't even know where to start. Like you said, it's a different test than you've ever taken before. I can't imagine trying to pass the exam without actually going through that prep course. If you're even thinking about that, I would not recommend that. I don't think anybody who's ever taken that would recommend it. It's a different beast that you probably haven't
Mhm.
encountered before. No matter, what you've done academically, it's a different kind of thing. So just throw that out there.
Okay, that's very helpful. I'm looking at the courses that are required and thinking to myself, okay, is this just as simple as I take those courses and if I pass them, I'm good. There's nothing on it about other suggested workshops or things that might help, like you guys are mentioning. I appreciate that. Is there some other resource that can point me to those other suggested workshops?
I've got the IAAO page here, and if you go under education, and then down under workshops, view more, it will kind of it goes to various different workshops that you can take.
Okay.
And 851 is the RES case study review workshop.
Okay.
Yeah, I think the brochure you have in front of you is for the professional development department. So we're just kind of a piece of that. So that just gives it's very course focused, but it's not a designation brochure. So at that iwo.org/has designations, you can actually download the designation brochure. Has more details in there. Then also there, if you click on each individual designation, it has the more details about each designation's requirements and under the case exam for the RES. So basically, if you click on RES, it'll give you the details there of what's required. And then under there's also a case exam section, and it tells you how to prepare for it. It gives you a link to the optional workshop to attend, or it takes you to our site so you can search for that workshop and register for that if you want to. That does remind me that there's different ways to get there. Most people do like to attend it in some way, either live or online, with a live instructor. That's the way they were intended to be taken. But if you just don't see anything coming up that meets your needs as far as that you're able to attend, but you want to move forward, it is possible to just buy the course materials from our store and study on your own. So if you're really studious and don't mind going that route, and that's available to you as well.
Okay. I appreciate that. We don't see a lot of IAAO courses offered in Oregon.
Yeah. Yeah, I know they're trying to become more active. And they've been working in the past few years to get more there with the spring and fall conferences and whatnot.
Right.
But it seems like it just kind of hits a certain point and doesn't quite hit momentum. So
Yes. Right.
wish we'd have more, but we're trying to get there,
Great.
as you've
Okay.
noticed. Of
Well, thank you for that. I very, very much appreciate it.
course. Any other thoughts on that, panelists, from what we've been talking? Oh, yeah, go ahead.
I would just add that on that master exam, make sure you really hit all the books that all the course work that you had to take, not just focus on the case exam stuff, because it is very comprehensive.
Got it. Thank you.
Feel free, Jaron, to post my email and information. I'm happy to talk with Ray more or anyone else who might be interested.
Yes, thank you. Yeah, I can throw it in the chat here. All right, good questions, good discussion so far. One thing I forgot to mention when I was doing the overview is that we do allow for awkward silence, so you can get your thoughts together and come up with more questions. So don't be afraid if we hear a little bit of silence going on this afternoon. But for those of you who joined us a little bit late or are still with us, yeah, feel free to just unmute yourself and ask your questions freely. Or if you're not comfortable with that, feel free to put your question into the chat and I'll read it out for our panelists.
Jared, I can think of something I could throw out there and might be helpful for people.
Yeah, please.
So on my journey, I passed the A51 workshop exam the first time I took it. I wasn't really confident that I'd passed it, but fortunately I did. Then I wound up doing the master exam. I was very confident I passed it, and I did not. So, it's kind of a funny thing, but I say that to say the gentleman who was proctoring for me was really helpful in my journey, and he's actually a CAE and he failed his RES the first time. That really encouraged me, like, oh, he's able to get a CAE and he still didn't do it the first time. So just to encourage anybody, it's again, if you've done really well academically, it's a little bit different than maybe you're thinking like a college course or something. The tests are really making sure you know comprehensively the material. Something Darlene said I piggyback on. She said for the case exam, make sure that you're kind of being comprehensive. I kind of really stuck towards the case examination, and some, things kind of blindsided me a bit in there. Fortunately, I was able to take care of it because I'd looked at a little bit of it. Somebody else that was with me, they didn't do as well because they hadn't looked at some of those other things. They were taking the test at the same time as well. So it definitely is comprehensive. It's not just what you're going over in that class. So hopefully those little nuggets are helpful.
Thank you, Brandon.
I must say that it is a different type of an exam. I was very successful at taking all of the courses, never failed a one. But unlike the RES, it was a lot of hard work, a lot of studying, a lot of commitment. Um, I spent hours. That's why it is important to do the workshop because, like the other panelists had mentioned, it's great study material. And it has a sample test that I had made multiple copies of, and I would just retake that test over and over again until I actually learned you have to, you really have to know it. And if you don't know it, you're going to find yourself in trouble. Um, I wasn't successful myself taking it first couple of times, and I was about to just throw in the towel. But I really wanted it. I had been working on it, and I just focused. And when I took the test over and over again, I was going for speed because you really lose track of time when you're taking. You think, oh, I have 8 hours, but those 8 hours go so fast. And so you have to make sure that you're keeping up with the time. Make sure you have a clock there so you don't get lost. Don't spend too much time on one or two questions. Move on. Come back to those. But just know that it's not an easy test and it takes a lot of commitment in studying. I gave up times when the family they would be watching movies and whatever, and I'm like, no, I think I'm gonna pass. I have to study. And the kids would be like, Grandma, not again. But it was like I knew that I did not want to be unsuccessful my last shot. So I did a lot of studying and I got there.
All good points. Thank you, Bernice. All right, attendees, don't be shy. Any more questions? Again, you're gonna feel free to unmute yourself. We hopefully have a informal, relaxed environment. If you're not comfortable with that, feel free to throw it in the chat and I'll read out to our panelists here. And Brad's jumping off. Thank you, Brad.
And I have to also say that I want to say that my office, the assessor, Hope Billy Butt, and our deputy assessor, Kevin Prine, they encourage the appraisers to get their designations and they make sure that we get the courses and any necessary resources so that we can obtain it. So it's good to know that you have support and people around to help you. So that helped as well because I had questions, you know, for some people and everyone was just helpful. And just like I said, with your family, they are really involved more than what they think they are, because you really are giving up a lot of time with them when you're doing this, because it takes a lot. So they understand. They're cheering you on. They were cheering me on so much till I felt like I was in the Final Four or something. How'd you do? How'd you do? So yeah.
Yeah, very good point, Bernice. And yeah, there's various levels of support available, kind of basis on state, or even down, as Bernice says, to the office. If your office is very active and you're lucky there, you have a lot. I mean, I haven't met a designee yet that says, no, I can't help you. If folks are looking to become a candidate and look and earn the designation, a lot of our designees are just so open and available to help those come after them and also achieve their designation. Some states are organized. They have candidate clubs, or even just through their chapter, just unofficially, just have folks going through different stages or whatnot, or just have times available to help schedule courses or talk about prepping for the exams, those kind of things. So as long as those are available too. So I don't know what all states everybody is in that's attending today, but do check into your state and local resources, your state chapters, if you have one, to see what they have available for designation candidates.
I have an additional question I'd like to throw out. I see in one of your slides, Jaron, that candidates have 5 years to earn the designation with a 1 year extension available.
Mhm.
I already have a couple courses under my belt. Would that 5 years also include that time, or does the 5 years start upon an application for candidacy or something like that?
Yes, the latter. So yeah, once you apply for candidacy and receive your acceptance notice, that's when that 5 year clock starts ticking. We've had that 5 year clock for a very long time. I think it used to be, I think the idea there was that somebody would start at the beginning from taking course 101 or course one back in the day, all the way through, and you need about 5 years for that, to varying degree, but also has back when courses are only available in person in the classroom. So really 5 years seems like a lot of time right now, compared to how things are more available now and more things are online. But yeah, that clock doesn't start until you apply and you're accepted. And for most folks that have a few of the courses done and then apply for candidacy, usually you're looking at earning their RES within about 2 years or so. If they have all their courses done, it could be a matter of months, just depending how fast they want to go through that case exam and that master exam.
All right, great. Thanks. That's very helpful.
You're welcome. And you're not required to apply for candidacy until you reach those stages after coursework. So you can take all your courses outside of candidacy. They'll still count towards the requirements, and you don't need to be a candidate yet. The main benefit to candidacy before that point, is to gain access to that advisor. If you want to have a designee, kind of be more of your personal advisor and coach along the way. And then also, if you plan to challenge the exam for credit on any of the courses, which is basically testing out of any of the 30-hour courses, um, we have the deepest discount we have available for that exam are for our designation candidates. So I think the list price for those exams is 300. IWO members pay 150, and if you're a candidate, you only pay $100 per exam. So you get an additional discount, if you want to take one of those exams to test out of something.
Got it.
And
And,
my
and this may be,
suggestion, what worked for me is once you take the case study exam, I wouldn't wait too long to take the master exam while the information is still fresh. Um, don't let too much time get in between.
Good point.
Yeah, that makes sense.
yeah, I would agree. Also, I just, maybe I missed it, but I thought, it wasn't very clear about the use PAP that you have to take 2 refreshers. And correct me if I'm wrong, but so I just kind of learned this. So I took the 26, 27, but now I'm going to be behind because I didn't realize, or maybe I just didn't think to check into it enough that really you have to take one for 24, 25, and then another one for 26, 27. Is that correct?
Yeah, I can talk about USPAP. Thank you. No. Seems to be the bane
Sorry,
of
but
everybody's
I was like,
existence.
oh
No,
darn it!
no,
Now I'm
it's
gonna have to wait till next, 2028 now. So I missed it. I missed that whole thing.
yeah, it's a good thing to talk about. So we probably should. So yeah, so mo most of you probably know that USPAP is a course of the Appraisal Foundation, and we're a sponsoring organization of them. So we follow USPAP, and also have our designees keep up with the education on USPAP. So what that means for candidates before you get your designation is that you need to have credit for the full 2-day course, the 15-hour USPAP. So that's the 2-day USPAP with exam. So you need to pass that. And for us that is that workshop 171, or sorry, workshop 151 on that list. But you can take it from any appraisal school as long as it's using appraisal foundation materials and instructor. We count that as well. So it doesn't have to be, you don't have to take it through us. We do provide it, but so do many others that have appraisal education too. So yeah, that's what you need for candidacy. And then what Darlene was talking about, that once you're a designee, the Appraisal Foundation puts out an update workshop every 2 years. And originally that was based on the updates made to USPAP itself and went through the 2-year revision cycle. And lately, kind of since COVID, I believe, they've announced they're not really necessarily updating USPAP itself every 2 years, but they are still releasing a workshop every 2 years for licensing and designations for continuing education. So that even if the text or structure of USPAP doesn't change, they are coming out with different more continuing education on USPAP that are required of designees to take, and if you have your state appraisal license for those folks as well. So yeah, so designees are required to have two of those during your 5-year cycle. So to maintain a designation, it's a 5-year cycle. So every 5 years, you need to have 70 hours of continuing education, and of that, need to be at the 2 of the 7-hour USAP updates. So unfortunately, if you wait till the end of your cycle, and updates only come out every 2 years, that does put some designees, unfortunately, like Darlene, in a bind because you can't go back in time and take previous updates. So that is the one thing in recertification or maintaining the designation that you need to keep up on during that 5-year cycle. Everything else you can take the last month. No, if you want to knock yourself out. But no, that is the one thing that is the one requirement to maintain your designation that is tied to a timeline and is more timely. That's the use have spiel. But as a candidate, or even just thinking about candidacy, don't worry about that now. And on our page for designees, there's an FAQ, and we have that all written up there. So you can take a look at that when the time comes.
Yeah, and my proctor advisor Perry from Jefferson County, Kentucky, he alluded to something. You might want to start on your USPAP now, and I just went over my head, and then I'm like, oh, now I get it. So yeah, so like 5 years, you might as well just start almost immediately after you get your designation and take it, and then another 2 years, take the next one or something. But anyway, live and learn. Hindsight.
I'll chime in on something. Darlene said something earlier on the call about how her designation has really helped differentiate her in her field, where she's at. And something I'd read last year in the IWL magazine really stood out to me. It was in the October issue, I believe. I looked it back up, and there's actually only about 1,058 at that time people that actually had designations, and some of them hold multiple designations. So it was a little under 1,300 total designations in the globe. I mean, it's not just America and Canada. It's a big organization. So to think, our area here, I think we have about 170, 180 people in our building. Not everyone's an appraiser, would actually touch and be interested in doing this per se. There's people that are customer service, etc. But you think about it, there's only less than 1,100 people that have designations that are active. That really does differentiate you a lot when you're talking about how many people are in this, profession. So just food for thought for somebody who's just kind of kicking around, is this worth it or not? It's definitely a feather in your cap. So, and it also, I would say, makes your skills portable, right? Because if I'm an if if I'm an appraiser that in Texas it's 1, 2, 3, 4, you're an RPA at 4. That's probably pretty portable. Showing that you actually have one of these designations, that's going to make you pretty portable even to other states and just whatever you wanted to do. So just food for thought if you want to stay in, of course, in the same profession. So.
Yeah, I was impressed by the letter that came along with the designations stating that you're less than 10% of the membership. So I was like, wow, really?
Yes, designees are an elite group. As we've kind of alluded to, it is a very good way to not only, raise your own credentials, but also raise the profession and the professionalism of assessing. To have folks that are sitting at the top and have proven their competence in the field and can show it. It helps to have those folks sitting there, but also to have confidence for the public and those who deal with on a daily basis, both sides of you, up the ladder and down the ladder. um, and then also just have that, and also just kind of be that point of inspiration for those that are new to the field and aren't sure it's quite a career yet, or might be getting started in their career and looking where can I go next, or where do I want to land in my career ladder here, and to have folks that are sitting there kind of that less than 10%, to show that there's a path forward to keep climbing, even if it's not made necessarily maybe in the position itself, with your county, city employer or whatever, but within the careers, within the profession itself.
I kind of equivalated to like an accountant and a CPA in our industry, and I will say that in here in Kentucky, I'm the education chair, and I worked with the budget committee to adopt a 10% salary increase for deputies. Now, as a PVA, I was not eligible, but the deputies now will get a one-time, 10% if they get an IAAO designation. So very
Excellent.
rewarding in Kentucky. So
Also great to hear.
yeah.
So yeah, sometimes it's left up to the individual employer. Sometimes states do have incentives like that. Even in Florida, the chapter provides something when you're in your designation. They got like a $500 award that they give out their annual conference every year to their new designees. So yeah, there's various benefits, and some places there isn't anything financially, unfortunately. We do try to grow that as much as we can and try to support folks that are going through the process of getting those things in place. But that is a benefit that many designees do see. All right, great discussion. Anyone else with questions? So no need to keep you the entire hour if we've run our course. But if we have questions still outstanding, we are still here. So feel free to type them in the chat or just unmute yourself and let us know your question. All right, is that enough awkward silence? All right. Well, I think guess we probably will wrap it up. This doesn't have to be the end of the conversation. So yes, if you do have any further questions that you didn't think to ask while we are on today, feel free to send them in to designations@iwao.org. And if I can answer them, I will myself. If not, then I'll our panelists to help get their perspectives or answers and share those with you and have resources for you. Um, Bernice, Brandon, Darlene, thank you for joining us today as panelists. Attendees, thank you for taking your time to join us today. And I guess I'll give you back about 10 minutes of your day.
All right. Thank you.
All
Happy
right.
to help anytime. Have a great day.
Yes.
Thanks,
Thank
Sharon.
you.
Take